What's up, y'all? Make sure everything is in its proper place. Everything looking pretty good. We should be set up. Instagram straight. DJ 750. What's happening? Everything going good. So I left a meeting today with a couple of my brothers. It was about gangology, and a lot of the things that it touched on revolved around how we grew up and why people join gangs and uh, the type of the type of things that lead to people joining gangs, what a gang is, what a gang's not. And it make you realize that a lot of times what you think is a choice is not necessarily a choice. So we believe we have freedom of speech. We believe we have the freedom to choose different things. But a lot of times the things that you're born into or the environment that you're raised in plays a bigger part in your decisions than you even realize. So I wanted to make a live video why a lot of the information that the brother Philip Sample or Uchi Khan touched on today, and a lot of the information wasn't necessarily new to me, but a lot of the information was put in a different context, and sometimes that's as important as learning new information. And there was a lot of people from different gangs in there. Some of the 4-2 guys was in there, and then some of the Red Zone guys, 7 Miles, different guys was in there. A couple other GDs was in there, but uh, even some Bloods. And I mean, it's literally a very large representation of different types of gangs. But anytime that I'm in one room, I'm thinking about the next room. So I was sitting there and I was putting a lot of those things and those concepts into place. And it made me realize that a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we don't even realize how much impact everything around us have on us. And as minority entrepreneurs, this is a totally different fight. Minority entrepreneurs have a totally different fight. And I'm not giving anyone excuses. I just want people to prepare for the battle that's ahead of them or to understand the battle that they're currently in. So, as an entrepreneur, you have to deal with the people around you not necessarily having the resources to support you in the type of way that you feel like you need to be supported. And the lack of support could lead you to doubting yourself. It could lead you to giving up. It could lead you to feeling like there is no hope for what you're trying to do. And there were people before you that tried things that felt the way that you felt. And those people will impart their feelings onto you, and you will start to feel the way that they feel about exploring life outside of that bubble. This is a problem when you want to be successful. A lot of times you just have to see success. And a lot of times as minorities, the success that we seen didn't come from the right thing. So that's not to say that certain people didn't have parents that were successful at uh, different things, being a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or something else, or even being entrepreneurs. But a lot of the time, the people that we see that successful are not the best role models. So you see rappers and drug dealers and different people like that, and those are the people that you start to look up to. Now, what happens is we start to get older and we're able to contextualize all of these things. So once you can conceptualize, I'm sorry, all of these things and you start putting things in place and you start to realize that, dang, a lot of the things that I was taught wasn't necessarily right. So now you can come back and it's a re-education and you start to see that, okay, the way that this was taught to me isn't going to be beneficial for me moving forward. So I have to make some necessary changes mentally to get to the next level. Now, once you make those changes mentally, you still have to deal with your physical location. Now, your physical location could be the area that you live in, but it can also be the the vicinity that you're in with losers. So what happens is losers start to sprinkle you. It's very subconsciously sometimes that they start to sprinkle you, and you don't even understand what they're doing. So you tell them you have this grand idea, and a lot of times these losers will shoot your idea down because they never have been successful at anything. So when you're dealing with being an entrepreneur and not seeing the type of success that you're reaching for, you have to be a different type of person to stand through that, to grind through that, and to make it to the next level. Now you get to the next level, you have to be a different type of person to get away from people that you grew up with, to get away from family members that you love dearly, and to make new friends, because in the community that we was raised in, they start telling us no new friends, and you learn about your day ones and all of this type of stuff that doesn't necessarily lend to being successful. Now, you could use somebody that you don't know as a role model. For instance, as an artist, you may look up to somebody like Jay-Z. You may see somebody successful doing what you're doing, and you can take notes from them. You can watch all the interviews, you can read the books, you can read the news clippings, you can do everything that you want to do. But it's nothing like having somebody close to you that has already walked in the footsteps that you've walked in before. And as a minority, sometimes that is pretty hard to come by. And even when you do come by those people, they're usually too busy trying to get to the next level that they can't help you. So now you have some type of monetary uh, thing in front of you to where you have to pay them for their time. And we have gotten to the point to where we're not paying someone to teach us something. We're paying someone to give us something. So now you see them trying to teach you something, trying to coach you, trying to make sure that you're going in the right direction, and that's not good enough for you. You want somebody that could give you instant results, somebody that you can give the same money to, that could give you some kind of shortcut, and the shortcut only lasts so long. Easy come, easy go. But for a person to sustain any type of success over a period of time, that person has to learn a new mindset. And you're not always able to pick up this mindset from watching somebody from a distance. You're not always able to learn from somebody that wrote a book and gave you these nuggets and these jewels. Being around somebody that's successful gives you a whole different zest for life. It put the battery in your back. And if you're not able to be around somebody successful to soak up this type of game, then you're more likely to give up before you even get ahead. This is a problem that it will definitely persist, but it's getting better because we're seeing more people successful at things other than rap, sports, and selling drugs. So with that type of growth, you have people in the background that want to stunt that growth. So let's talk about music, movies, and different things like that. So now you have, let's say the early 2000s, black people were starting to make, different types of moves into reality TV and different things like that. Now, when you look up and you see what happened in the beginning of the 2000s, they gave us all of these pointless reality shows. So now you got all of these love and hip hops and all these different things, and they're very entertaining, but they're not educational, they're not enlightening. So all you're doing is getting entertained. Now that's keeping you away from something beneficial to you. And it's stirring up conflict between males and females. If you look at where we are today, a lot of that has come from the attitudes displayed on social media and in reality shows. Now, we have no control over what people post on their social media page, or we don't have control over what people do in their real lives that spill over to reality shows. But what we have to understand is that there's a puppet master moving all of these things around. So now you have content like this where I try to enlighten and educate my fan base, my audience, and you have something else going on that's a mess. So you have somebody over there next to me or right above me, wherever you scrolling at, you have them saying that they coochie is a certain color, they booty hole a certain color, or you have them talking about the WAP and how good they you know what is. So you have all of these things, or you have somebody robbing a jewelry store, or you have a fight video. So social media is full of all of these different things. And the algorithm is what they blame everything. Oh, it's the algorithms. In reality, there's a puppet master. The same thing with the music business. So in the music business, you have people that push positivity. You have people that want to enlighten people. You have guys like a D1. Most recently, Big Mike won an award. So we have this rapper that's technically a pretty conscious rapper winning 3 rap awards at the Grammys. And the image that we get is them carrying him out in handcuffs somewhere. I don't understand the whole thing that happened, but I'm just saying, even in that, you see this man being carried off in handcuffs. Now, these are all images that we have to fight with every day. The social media aspect is a bunch of noise that we have to fight through every day. I recently cut off all of my notifications from social media, and it does mean that sometimes people reach out for me for business and I don't get to the message as soon as I could. But I don't have to deal with the noise all day. I make posts, and sometimes these posts have 100,000 views on them or whatever, and I get notifications all day, and that could be a distraction. If you know me, you know that I'm currently finishing up an MBA, and I don't need any of these types of distractions. So most people haven't gotten to the point of that understanding yet. So as minorities, we are stuck watching fight videos. We are stuck watching reality TV. We are stuck watching all of the mess that the algorithms give us on social media. And it takes a different type of mindset to get out of that rat hole. If you don't focus on your peace of mind, if you don't focus on your growth, you will be stuck looking at these fight videos, looking at um, what is Krishan, looking at somebody else on a reality show. You looking at all of this different stuff, and it's just noise to keep you away from your ultimate goal. This is very sad. But the person that tells you this is what's going on, you're going to slide past him if you see him because it's not what you want to hear. In reality, until you control everything around you, until you control your food, until you control your media intake, and that includes social media, books, movies, music, anything else that you consume that could be media and social media and whatever else, you have to police that to the point that it could be irritating because you're not going to get everything that you want. So lately, I've been taking to watching Alex Hermosi videos. If you don't know who Alex Hermosi is, you can Google him. You could it's kind of easy to find him, but it's the guy with his shirt off. You see him with his muscles out, and he's a big marketing guy. And I found myself watching a lot of his videos because he talk a lot about sales and marketing, and he talk about coming up. So anyway, I was watching Alex Hermosi, and like I said, you will know him. They even call these Hermosi style videos with all of these flash and text that's in the video, different things. This guy got long hair. He usually wear a hat, wife beater, whatever. But this is Alex Hermosi. Long story short, he talk about coming up, and he's a marketing guy, but he talk about coming from nothing. And he explained that at every level of his success, he found new friends because the friends under him didn't understand his level of success. And in order for him to get to the next level of success, he had to surround himself with people that were more successful than what he was then. Because if you are always around people that's less successful than you are, who are less financially stable than you are, then you'll always find yourself helping them out, which could stunt your growth because your time, your energy, your resources could be used to move you forward. Sometimes people are draining you and you end up chasing your own tail for trying to help other people. And us as minorities, especially black people, we have a bunch of people around us that may not be doing as well as we're doing. And we feel that if we don't look out, then we're not keeping it real. So now these people start to get a a mindset of dependency. And every time you look up, they're asking you for something. Hey, can you do this? Hey, can I borrow? Hey, man, I know you busy, but listen, in order for me to succeed in a lot of the things that I've done over the last 3 years of my freedom, I had to make sacrifices. I had to ignore people. I had to do what was best for me. How am I supposed to feel sorry for doing what's best for me? Now, you have people who don't do what's best for them. They look up and they're in a worse position than they should be in, and they wonder why. They working hard, they're doing everything that they're supposed to do, but they got family members that's hanging on. They have uh spouses who do stuff to hold them back. They have all of these different things that's hindering them. And I'm not saying that these type of issues are only for black people or Mexicans or females. I'm saying that it's more likely that an entrepreneur that's a minority is going through these types of things than an entrepreneur that's a majority. And I don't want to just make it black and white, because being a minority is the whole class in itself and it's more than just black and white. But I had to deal with nobody teaching me about entrepreneurship. And because nobody in my family were really successful entrepreneurs, especially not over some long period of time to where they could talk to me about sustaining any type of growth in entrepreneurship. So I would have to reach outside of my house to gain this knowledge. And that's hard because a lot of the people outside of my house were doing the wrong thing. So I had a few teachers that, had their stuff together, but I didn't aspire to be a teacher. Teachers make 30, 40, $50,000. Like, so what we're aspiring to is something a little different. Now, I'm not dogging teachers. I'm just saying, as a kid, a lot of kids aren't looking at teachers as role models because their teachers aren't the ones walking into school with big chains on, jewelry. It's kids walking in high school looking like they make more than a teacher. I've seen kids in Balenciaga when I go pick up my kids. So we have to understand that what we're looking for may not come from our immediate surroundings, and that watching TV or looking online or finding somebody that's motivational is different for a minority. We have totally different needs. So even in coaching, I have a different type of style that I use for my people. It doesn't mean that I'm being fake or being hood or being any of that, but we have different sets of needs. So when you're dealing with businesses that's ran by entrepreneurs, you have to understand that this person thinks a different type of way. So now I'm not coaching my clients and pestering my clients about everything, because I understand my clients have minority problems. They may be single mothers, they may be single fathers. I've dealt with single fathers, but although those problems are not just for black people, it's not something that only black people deal with. It's something that's more prevalent in the black community, and that's a difference. So until you look at your life and see that, okay, my starting point was different, I had to work a little harder. You will, excuse me, you will find yourself looking at the wrong role models, or you will find yourself down because things don't move like you think it should, because you haven't accepted the fact that your fight is a different fight because you're a minority entrepreneur. You may not have grown up in a house with somebody that could show you how to be an entrepreneur. You may not have grown up in a house with somebody that could show you how to persevere, right? You may not have been taught a certain thing, because Your mom may have had to work, even if your daddy was working, your mom may have had to work. So you didn't have a parent in the household. A lot of us were raised by our older siblings. We have a different fight. So we have different needs. It's just the way it is. It's a lot of us that had to see somebody. And I remember being a kid and my older cousin was in prison. And I remember going to see my older cousin in prison. Everybody's not dealing with that. Now it's normal to us, but everyone's not dealing with a father that's in prison, an uncle that's in prison. We have to accept the fact that our fight is a different fight. So we have to prepare for this fight differently. We have to fight this fight differently. We have to use different tools. We have to use different strategies because our needs are just different. And until you understand that, you will probably just keep bumping your head. And that's no place anybody want to be. I'm not gonna hold y'all up too much today. It's a Saturday. I've been up all day. I done lost my voice. I had to speak today. I had other things going on, but I had to come in and talk about this a little bit and give some type of context to the idea that minority entrepreneurship is definitely different than all other types of entrepreneurship, and that's real life.